Hey, quick question for you. So, of all the Christmas games that obviously were played on Christmas Day, which one would you say kind of stuck out the most to you?
Most exciting or just stuck out as in like
Yeah,
watching wise?
I would say most exciting.
Most exciting, I definitely say the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. I think the second half, the first half was like Boston Celtics was giving them that work. Second half was very fun, very entertaining. Milwaukee Bucks came back. Giannis was special on both sides of the basketball court. That defensive block that he had, where he kind of Jason Tatum was going to try to get the layup, and then he passed it off and he changed directions at the last minute and blocked the shot. I think that was very special. Um, the Bucks are good. The Bucks are still probably reminding everybody that they're probably still the team to beat in the East. That's what I got. That's my biggest like takeaway from those Christmas games and the most exciting game. What about you?
Yeah, and I mean too, going off that, like with all these different health and safety protocols that are happening right now. I mean, with we talk about consistency and things like that. I know in the beginning of the season, things were looking a little wacky for Milwaukee, but it kind of looks like they have it all together. Giannis is still being Giannis. Um, and I think the fact that they have that, superstar or having, one of the top guys in the league perform at the level that he's playing at. And I think they still, going back to like previous episodes, I think they still feel like they have something to prove, which is actually a good thing. Um, I know some, Celtics fans were a little upset a little bit about that second half, but I mean, it's still the reigning champs. There's a reason why they're the champs. You know what I mean? It's not like, it was a lucky kind of thing, but they, they handle business.
No, they legit. They legit. And I think it's crazy because Giannis is just he's a walking 30 and 10, 35 and 10. He can you 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists every night. To come off of not playing for a week and still like he wakes up out of his sleep and gets you 35 and 10. Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Not even playing. Like was out and it comes back and still dominates. So that's very impressive.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like it's not just like to come back and play, but it's also coming back to play and being dominant. And Boston, is a good team, right? That I don't consider them a team. Like there's a reason why they're playing on Christmas, right? So, to kind of see that is just a reminder of, I mean, which we already knew, right? But how talented and how good not just Giannis is, but how real Milwaukee is, right? And so, but I don't know, man. What do you think in terms of obviously we talk about Milwaukee repeating, either going back to the finals or winning it all. But what do you think Boston's chances are, just in the grand scheme of all of this, in terms of?
No, I told you before the season. I told you before the season started, they have no chance at nothing, other than probably being a playoff team. I like Jason Tatum. I love Jason Tatum. Love his game. I love Jaylen Brown. People want to say, "Oh, you may want to split these guys up." Maybe so. Who knows? But you have two talented, probably the best wing tandem in the league besides Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on the same team, and they're both under 25 years old. So it's just kind of like you got to build a solid team around those two guys, like that. You go, I go situation the Boston Celtics had is similar to what we were talking about with the Chicago Bulls. But the difference between the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics is just like their roster is just better. So they can go, you go, I go with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, but also got Lonzo Ball who can set up guys and hit open shots. They also got Nikola Vucevic. You can dump it down and play inside, outside with him. So pick and roll game. So that's what the Boston Celtics kind of lacking. They got Robert Williams. He's a nice piece. Marcus Smart. He's a nice piece. But I still feel they need like a inside presence, a guy that can score the ball, somebody like Sabonis, or a guard that can get Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum easy shots, like a Ricky Rubio. So that's kind of how I feel about the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is too, like I would consider them to be a good team, but in the league it doesn't matter if you're a good team. What matters is if you're better than your opponent, right? And the pieces that the Celtics have, like they're nice individual pieces, but when you line them up and stack them against some of the top teams in the conference, it's like, well, as good as you are, if you aren't better than the team that you're playing, it's almost irrelevant. And we've seen teams like Chicago, obviously Brooklyn and Milwaukee, like they're here. And definitely shout out to Chicago too, because they're the team that people were kind of like either they can be really good or it just won't work, and they've shown that it's working. But yeah, I mean, obviously anything can happen come playoff time. I mean, the alert just came out as of today, like Jason has entered health and safety protocols, but that's
Everybody
yeah.
these days.
Well, yeah, that's everybody these
Crazy.
days. But if there's, that's one team who really, really needs, what I'm saying, their guy and Jason Tatum. And so if he's out, then, however long it is, it's almost like, well, what's next for the Boston Celtics? And even though this is a long season, we've also entered that next quarter, right? Where, it's past Christmas now. And eventually you got to stop saying like, all right, it's still early. It's still early. It's still early. Eventually it's not going to be early. Eventually it's going to be warm out. Eventually it's about to be April and we're about to be looking like, well, damn, what exactly happened during the regular season? So,
yeah, I hope you keep that same energy with your team in LA because
we could talk about it.
Missed the last week. I'm not worried. This and that. They still got this and that.
Oh, it's post Christmas now.
I'm officially worried. I'm officially worried. Like it's crazy because first off, shout out to James Harden. I think people forget that James Harden is one of the greatest floor risers this league has ever seen. James Harden is a guy for years has carried the load with the Houston Rockets and led teams to the playoffs, led teams to the Western Conference Finals. This was before Chris Paul came. So it's just kind of like no Kyrie, no Kevin Durant, no problem. You know what I'm saying? He had to remind people like he didn't come to play with the Brooklyn Nets to be the James Harden we saw with the Houston Rockets. He came to be a facilitator, to be the third option, to set up guys to also score when needed. But when there's a situation like Kevin Durant's out, Kyrie Irving's out, he's still James Harden. He can still go out and get you 35, 40 if needed. That's not what he signed up for coming to the Nets. But don't get it twisted. Like he's one of the greatest floor risers in the history of the NBA that this league has ever seen. And he reminded people that on Christmas when he basically beat the Los Angeles Lakers by himself, facilitating and scoring.
The only reason why I laughed and Slash was irritated when what you just said was because hearing no Kyrie or no KD, it's like, and we still lost. And there's no shade to Brooklyn. No, definitely no shade to James Harden, but come on. I don't believe in like really pressing the panic button. I think there's a difference between pressing the panic button and just overall giving up. We're just like, at what point? And I know the whole Anthony Davis situation, but like at the same time, they don't have Kevin Durant. So that excuse kind of goes out the window. At the same time, they don't have Kyrie Irving. So what exactly are we doing here? It's like, what excuse are we willing to use next? Because I'm running out of them. Yeah. I don't know what else needs to be done or said or what change needs to be made. But what the hell are we doing?
LeBron's playing like a madman, Theus, and they still losing. He's averaging 30 over his last 11. And it's crazy. It's just like LeBron, as great as he is, like I said last week, him having this load, the man was playing center. He was moving out the ball. He was cutting. He was in the post. Like he's doing everything. And they're still losing. So it's just kind of like, that has to be frustrating.
What's that Tyrese meme? Where he's like, he's crying or some shit. Yeah, no. That's R. Kelly. That's R. Kelly. That's a fight of my life. No, it's like, what he say? He said, "What more do you want from me?" What more do you want from me? Pushing 37, and this you really gotta ask for. Damn. Come on. I'm supposed to be in Hollywood just chilling during the regular season. I'm supposed to be vibing. Like, I'm supposed to just, give you a little 22 every now and then, you know what I'm saying?
25.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they'd wait to the post, and then it's like, all right, let me activate Bron mode. No. I need me to produce at this high of a level and still catch L's. This is the nasty world that we are living in. And again, I'm rooting for us. Like, I don't want anyone to ever think, mistake what I'm saying here. It's like I'm aborting the mission, but damn, we got to call it what it is. Let's win some basketball games. I don't think that's too much to ask. You know what's too? Let's win some basketball games against teams that we should be winning basketball games against. Yeah. We're talking about a Nets team without, now if Kyrie was out there and gave, the Lakers fits and just gave out 40 on his first game back, I'd say, hey, that's a man possessed. I don't got shit to say. If KD went out there and said, I feel like giving y'all 40 on Christmas Day at crypto.com arena, hey, I wouldn't say anything. It's Kevin damn Durant. but come on now. What are we doing? Love James Harden. I'm glad he's, doing what he got to do. He deserves it, especially giving all the shit that people were saying about him. But damn, come on. Like, please. Like, it's almost like I got to ask now, can we please play the way we should be playing? Yeah. Like we looking like, let me not say no other NBA teams, but we not looking like the Lakers. We not and I hate saying that shit. Like, I literally hate it. Some teams, it's like, hey, I know y'all stink, so it is what it is. But it's like, please, guys, like, it's not us. It's not our identity. But that's, who knows, man?
Yeah, and my thing is like, what and then I hear people that's just, you know how it is when people talk about LeBron James. He can be spectacular, and people still, LeBron can be spectacular, and people still gonna like find a way to like, he chose that team. Okay, let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut the bullshit. Like, players recruit players because they want to have talent on the roster to give them the best chance to compete for championships. So the fact people that they say he chose that team, every NBA player recruits players to try to come and play with them. So, yes, did LeBron James want Russell Westbrook on his team? You damn sure he did. But at the same time, it's not LeBron James' responsibility to come up with a defensive and offensive philosophy that's going to work for this roster. That's the head coaching responsibility. That's Rob Pelinka, the GM, the front office responsibility. That's not LeBron James' responsibility. LeBron James' responsibility as a player, like most players do, they recruit other players to try to come and play on the same team so they can better their chances of winning a championship. So the whole like he chose his team, let's stop. That's so casual, and let's stop the cap, because he's not, contrary to popular belief, he's not the coach. He's not the GM. Like he's not what people always love to tend to say. But it's just like, of course, it's LeBron James, so he's going to get that flack. And you know,
well, at this point, LeBron should probably want KD on his team. At this point, LeBron should probably want Jason Tatum on his team. At this point, LeBron should want Damian Lillard on his team. Because the way I see it, I don't know what the hell is going on in the city of Los Angeles, but something has got to change. I'm not even just saying trade, but just like, guys, I understand the big three and everything like that, but like,
why did you? I actually, okay, you getting there? I actually last week.
I'm just saying.
How do you fix the Lakers this week? This, because last week it was like
my answer has completely changed. You're right. My answer has completely changed. Well, now it's post Christmas. Christmas to me is like the deadline. Christmas to me is like all right. We that's your the evaluation period. I have my answers, but it involves trades, and I personally don't like the idea of admitting that certain guys need to be given the boot, but at the same time, I want some W's in the column. I don't think that's too much to ask. I'm not gonna say it, but like this. A lot of these situations, people want to use the.
You kind of pump.
No, I'm not pumping. The thing is with a lot of these situations, right? People like to use these things like it takes time, but the thing is, people never say how long, right? Like it's time a month. It's time 5 months. It's time 17 games. Like what exactly is time? So I would say right now the Lakers need some youth, right? I think the Lakers need some sort of energy. I don't even think it's a talent thing, right? So I think people are worried about fit. I just think they need someone who's like, yo, guys, I really want to win a ring right now. Like they need a hustle guy. They need someone who like doesn't mind risking the idea of just getting more wins. Because right now I think, whether it's because they're in LA and just the overall being in Hollywood or whatever, but I think they're missing out on, just straight up grit and grind. As crazy as that sounds, the one team that might need that right now is probably the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, because the thing is, right, the talent is there, right? Like, you have talented guys, but do you have a team that truly, truly, truly wants it more than the team that they're playing? And I don't know if that's the case. Like,
yeah, it's
because part of basketball is desire too. Like you can collect a bunch of guys with talent, but if you got dudes out there that don't want it, and not to say that they don't, but just like what exact, like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if it's an X and O's thing. I don't know if it's a stats thing or what, but like you just can't keep losing to teams that you should be beating. If you want to go lose to Milwaukee, whatever. If you want to lose to a healthy Brooklyn team, whatever. But like you losing to teams that like you should be beating. So now there's no excuse. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
Like
that's the problem. And then people would like to point to Russell Westbrook. They're loud when Russell Westbrook plays bad. He had a terrible Christmas game. But at the same time, it's just kind of like him and LeBron combined for like 66 against the Spurs and lost by 20. So I can point to that game, and people were quiet when Russell Westbrook has a good game. So it's just like to try to scapegoat Russell Westbrook, it's kind of like I get it. I understand. It's the same situation what they did with Kemba Walker with the New York Knicks. It's like, oh, let's bring the guy who we got in and traded for and try to like scapegoat him, and it's his fault. No, it's not. It's deeper than that. It's a lot of problems with the Lakers that's deeper than just Russell Westbrook and the fit with the Los Angeles Lakers.
The holiday season is upon us, and MyBookie is in a giving spirit with 12 straight days of giveaways. Every day, there's a new exclusive promotion for you to redeem. And the best part is, check this out, it's all free when you sign up and make your first deposit with MyBookie. Now, starting on Tuesday, December 21st, and ending on Saturday, January 1st, you can bring in the new year right with giveaways that can help you fill your stocking with cash this season. Now, from odds boosts to casino chips to straight up locks, all right? MyBookie's 12 days of giveaways is a can't miss promotion. And that's not all right? To get you started, MyBookie is matching all first time deposits up to $1,000 with our promo code NOPUMPFAKES. That's double your funds to double your winnings and get in on all the best action at MyBookie. Now, don't miss out, all right? Double your first deposit up to $1,000 by using promo code NOPUMPFAKES. Head to MyBookie, place your bets, and get in on the best 12 days of the year today. All right, now bet anything, bet anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. You know what the problem was with both of those scapegoat situations when it comes to Russell Westbrook and Kemba Walker? With the Lakers, his teammate is such a beloved individual and has such a strong fan base that he, in a way, can do no wrong to them, right? And on the flip side, Kemba, the team that he's on, has a fan base where it's like, you know what, we got to find somebody. So let's choose a new guy. So basically, both guys are in a situation where the team and the player are so loved by their fans that it's like, to me, it's like, well, unless that player is out there giving them 40 a night, let's just blame them, because it's like, we know for a fact, they're like, no, it ain't LeBron. It ain't the Knicks' fault. You knew? All right, so we going to blame you. And the thing is, I think people are starting to realize that the bigger picture here is that something larger needs to be done, right? Like, you got two talented point guards in Kemba and Russ, but if things ain't going the way that you originally planned, it's like, all right, well, who really is it that needs to be blamed? Because like you said, when they play well, it gets silent. It gets very silent. Like, the critiques kind of stop.
Crickets.
But it is crickets. But the minute they have one bad game, and not, they're human beings. So I know they've had like more than one, but it's just like, yo, it's not their fault. If it were happening like over and over and over again, all right, cool. It is what, you got to real recognize real. But at the same time, it's like, all right, if they play well and you're still losing, are you sure that person was the reason why you're losing? Because I don't think that's the case.
That's what I'm saying with the Russell Westbrook and Kemba Walker. That's a perfect analogy. That's perfect analysis. Like, how can you sit up and say it's one guy's fault or two guys' fault when you talk about Kemba Walker and Russell Westbrook when your team is losing? Like, and even if they play well, you're losing. So it's just kind of like, it's deeper than that. That's what I'm saying. Even with the Knicks, with the Los Angeles Lakers, I look at the Los Angeles Lakers, it's just no offensive philosophy, formula. They have no like schemes. It's just like, what are we doing? It's like, you got all this talent, but it's like, we got this and we acquired this talent, but we're not going to change things around. We're just going to drop Russell Westbrook and LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They're talented. They'll figure it out. It don't work that way with Russell Westbrook being your point guard. It will work that way if Damian Lillard was your point guard or Stephen Curry was your point guard, because their skill sets are better suited for Anthony Davis and LeBron James because of their shooting. But if you got a guy like Russell Westbrook that goes north or south, that attacks the rim, it's kind of like, you got to change some things up. And that's why we see like LeBron James, being in the post and playing a center position or whatever. Anthony Davis is out, and Anthony Davis should want to play the center, but obviously he doesn't want to do that. So it's just kind of like, it's so much that needs to be done. But I'll tell you how you fix the Los Angeles Lakers. It's quite simple, to be honest. The same thing I've been saying for the past 2 years after they won their championship, about if they want to repeat, if they want to continue to win championships going forward. Their third best player or third option, you need a shot creator. They have nobody that can create their own shot that you can give the ball to. LeBron James can give the ball to, like he was with Miami, Dwayne Wade, with the Cleveland Cavaliers with Kyrie Irving. They have nobody can give the ball to and just clear out the way and go get their own bucket. Russell Westbrook's not that guy, creating off the dribble. LeBron James, at this point in his career, shouldn't be your best shot creator. Malik Monk is a good talent, but Malik Monk is not he's not that. You don't want Malik Monk being your best shot creator on your team. So I look at that situation with Los Angeles Lakers. It's just like you got LeBron, you got Malik Monk. Like you kind of want your third option to be a shot creator, which is why I was saying for 2 years that and Lakers fans would kill me. They were talking about fit. Same thing they're talking about Russell Westbrook. They're talking about fit with this guy, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan would have been the perfect player for the Los Angeles Lakers. DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. I know that's here nor there, but it's just kind of like that type of player, that type of creator, that type of guy you can get the ball into a half court and say, get out the way. I can go get my own bucket. I don't need anybody. I don't need you to run the offense or running sets for me. I can just go to work. That's what the Los Angeles Lakers are lacking, especially when they don't have a defensive philosophy and their defense is terrible. Because it used to be when the Los Angeles Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they could just out athletic you. They not even do that now. So
and it's crazy that you mentioned DeMar DeRozan, considering the timing of it all. With the way DeMar is playing, and with the way the Lakers are playing, it's like, man, there's a huge difference, and just from an individual versus team perspective. But I mean, I think I've heard you mention that before. Like, I want to say Zach was Zach another guy, and or Brad, another guy that you felt like could be a third.
Yeah, Brad. I was like Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine. Any guy where I was talking about, they could just find a legitimate third option to be a shot creator. That's what they need. It don't even have to be a superstar. It could be a guy like Andrew Wiggins. Like, you see what Andrew Wiggins doing with the Golden State Warriors. Like, they got Steph Curry, they got Draymond, they got Klay Thompson that's going to come back, but they got Andrew Wiggins that can get his own shot. He can get his own bucket. He can get to the rim. He can dunk on you. He can hit you with a fadeaway. He gets a three. Like, he can create all. He can get busy. That's what you need with the Los Angeles Lakers, and they just don't have that. So when people are talking about like, oh, Russell Westbrook, you want to trade Russell Westbrook? Oh, we want to trade Russell Westbrook for Ben Simmons. That's what I've been hearing all Ben Simmons. I'm like, you're trading for the exact same player. I said that does nothing for them offensively. So you can trade Russell Westbrook for Ben Simmons, but offensively, what does that do? Yes, Ben Simmons is to me probably the best defender in the league when he plays, especially on the perimeter. But at the same time, offensively, and Ben Simmons has been questioned when we talking about his motor and offensively limited. At least I know Russell Westbrook going to go out there. He's going to have some bad games. Russell Westbrook can go out there and get you 25 and 30 and 8 and 6 some nights. Ben Simmons, that's not what you're getting. So offensively, yeah, you could trade for Ben Simmons, but it's just like you still got the same problem. So that doesn't make sense to me.
To me, it's more of like, what's your goal here? Or like, what's the identify the problem and provide a solution, right? So it's not just about trading one guy for this guy. And to your point, if you feel that they do the exact same thing, what exactly
are we doing?
What are we doing? And so, especially if that's not the problem that needs to be solved. If you're saying that, all right, we need a third guy that can just put the ball in the hoop. Love Ben Simmons, but that's not his strength, right? Like, in terms of the similar play to LeBron and everything like that, again, I think he's very talented, but as we know in this league, majority of it is based off fit. So if you need a guy that can score, maybe you might want to look elsewhere. And I'm not even talking about just trade package. I'm just speaking in general. Stop thinking that like just a trade is going to cure everything.
No.
What's the problem? Let's start there. What do we need help with? I know we have LeBron James and Russ Westbrook with Anthony Davis, but let's just add on. What do the Lakers need? All right, what do the Lakers need? And then go from there. But like just adding on players
trying to say to use Russell Westbrook as a scapegoat. Everybody talks about the one guy they could trade and probably should trade is Russell Westbrook. I'm just like that's not really the issue. Like people are ignoring the issue, but they want to use Russell Westbrook as a scapegoat. They're ignoring the issue. Russell Westbrook is not necessarily the issue. The issue is just like the Lakers are losing to bad teams and men losing to bad teams, whether Russell Westbrook playing good or bad. It's the entire team. And what they need is just kind of like, you could probably keep Russell Westbrook. You can keep the big three, Russell Westbrook, AD, and LeBron James. And you could go out and probably find you a guy that's available that could be a shot creator. And you could probably pick up Bismack Biyombo from free agency. He could be a rim protector. He's a rim protector. You need another rim protector. If you don't want to go out and get Miles Turner, go get Bismack Biyombo. He can be a rim protector. Anthony Davis can play the 4. And then you go out and here's a guy that's available. The whole Indiana Pacers roster is pretty much available. They've said it. Karis LeVert perfect shot creator, create off the dribble, can score 17 to 20 points per game, can create up half court, can run sets, can hit open shots. Karis LeVert, go get him. I don't know how. Package THT. THT is good. He's a young player, but it's just kind of like he's very up and down. So it's just kind of like, go get a guy that's like, yo, Karis LeVert is pretty proven in this league if he can stay healthy. Like, he's solid. He can get you 17 to 20 points per game. He can play the Andrew Wiggins role. Because every championship caliber team, the real championship caliber teams that I look at, the Suns, Devin Booker, elite shot creator. The Golden State Warriors, Andrew Wiggins, another elite shot creator. The Milwaukee Bucks, Chris Middleton, another elite shot creator. The Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, elite shot creators. It's just kind of like, that's the problem. That's the problem with the Los Angeles Lakers. They have nobody that can create their own shot except a 37-year-old, and you're expecting a 37-year-old to be your best shot creator when that's not even LeBron James' best attribute, especially at this point in his career. It makes no sense.
As well as protect the rim. Hey, you got a brother man playing the 5. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But you consider Steph a shot creator, right?
Yes, of course.
All right, just want to make sure.
No. Of course. But I'm talking about more for that.
No, I know. But I just want to make sure Warriors fans don't get you active.
That small forward position, that wing position.
Right.
Like, you need an elite shot creator and another guy that can. And if they play both sides of the ball, even better. Because Andrew Wiggins, both sides of the ball. Kevin Durant, both sides of the ball. Chris Middleton, both sides of the ball. Even better. That's what these real championship caliber teams. Miami Heat, I'll throw them in there. Jimmy Butler, both sides of the ball. Like, that's what the Lakers are missing right now. A guy that can score and a guy that can defend, two-way ability at the wing position.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate because with a team that has LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, the question is being asked for what more do they need? And I think that can be detrimental and harmful to a team like that. Because then it's like, all right, y'all, at what point is it just get it done with the pieces that you do have? Right? Because we talk about superstar status and people, adding so much to their team. And it's like, well, how much do you really need before we sit here and say, was this ring even like, should we even really give credit to this ring? Now, I don't feel that way. I think regardless of who is on your team in the league, if you win, you win. Very simple. But at the same time, if the requests are being made, not necessarily from the players themselves, but from fans, like, all right, we need this, we need that. But you already have 3 Hall of Famers, give or take, in their prime.
Yeah,
it's like
top 75 players all time.
Right. Well, and that's, again, just in their prime. To me, it's 5. But either way, it's almost like, well, exactly is it that, we're about to be sitting here saying after they win a ring? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, he is the GOAT, or this was the greatest team ever. It's like, well, did you get it done with the pieces that you had? And the thing is, too, the reason why I say this is because they have, in my opinion, the pieces to get it done. They're just not doing it. Now, if I really felt that this was a team that, like, definitely needed all this extra stuff to, like, win some games, I would be even more upset. But it's like, yo, when you look at that roster, whether you want to blame the coach, whether you want to blame the fact that the Lakers might be playing lazy, whether it's the fact that they are playing, down to their competition, whatever the case is, they're not getting it done. And it really, really, really is that simple. Get the job done. You don't stink. You're not a bad team. You don't have bad players. You're not in a rebuilding mode. Lord knows they are not in a rebuilding mode. So, yeah. Lord, anytime you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you are not looking to just make the playoffs. You are looking to win basketball games and, more importantly, win championships. So I don't need to hear anything about this just isn't their year or whatever the hell. Like, win some games and win a chip. Like, again.
Yeah, it's
frustrating more than anything because it if I was a fan, like, certain years being a Laker fan, you just kind of knew, like, all right, we suck, right? Like, we know, like, I know, like, all right, the lineup that we're throwing out there, hey, I just want to be entertained. I'm not looking for us to win games. I'm just watching because I'm a fan. But this year it's like, yo, as a fan what we're capable of achieving. Why the hell are we playing like this? Why the hell are we letting bum teams get W's? Like, come on. Yeah, like, that's unacceptable. That's a perfect word for this. It's unacceptable.
My man, that's why you gotta just be a basketball fan like me.
I am a basketball. I'm just saying though.
You going through right now.
I'm just saying though. Like even all right, fine. Even as a basketball fan, when you watch, like, bro, I guarantee you right now, even as a basketball fan, if you walked up to a park right now and saw a player who you could just tell by the eye test was very good, but he wasn't dominating, he wasn't playing up to the standards that you feel that he could be, it would bother you because you know, like, yo, what the hell are you doing?
Who are you talking about?
I'm just saying in general. I'm not talking about a specific player. I'm just saying, like, when you see like players on a court that might be good, but they're not playing up to their potential, you might start to think, and maybe it's just me, but you might start to think like, yo, what exactly are you doing? Like, why aren't you dominating? Why aren't you like playing the way you should be?
They play like Russell Westbrook has increased the pace of every team that he's been on.
Right. Okay.
The Rockets, Los Angeles Lakers. So it's just kind of like they're slow.
I wasn't speaking from an individual perspective. Like, I wasn't talking. I wasn't subbing like LeBron or Russ. I'm talking about the team. Like when I look at this, like, yo, get that shit together.
Yeah, you said youth, they need more youth, but that's what I'm saying. They're slow. Like they're
that's why they might need some youth.
Slow, and it's just kind of like they're playing like they're running two bigs until LeBron James started playing the center position. They were running two bigs for a long time. Like this is not the early 2000s, and that's how their roster is set. Like they got a roster that's set for like the early 2000s. Even with the rule change, it's just kind of like you got guys that's dominating right now with the rule change, especially guys that can operate the second zone in basketball court because it's kind of like, oh shit, this is my type of game. I gotta operate in the in between game, but the Lakers don't have that.
You know what? I'll give them some credit, and that they've tried. That might be the scariest part, is that they've tried to low key make adjustments. It just ain't working. That might be the scariest thing. Like it ain't like, you know what I'm saying, they've been rolling out there with the same shit and just like, all right, when are you guys gonna make a change? There have been changes.
They
and it's still not working.
They need a
No, I'm so serious. I'm so serious. It ain't like it's been the same five. You know what I'm saying? Shit just ain't been working.
Yeah. It's disheartening, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time. We had to talk about it because it's getting nasty, but it's just kind of like, I just don't like the Russell Westbrook like needs to be traded when it's just like, that's not even the main problem. Let's talk about the main problems first. And it's just kind of like, how do you fix the Los Angeles Lakers? Like you say, they got enough talent. They need to figure out. They need to look inward. They need to have a discussion amongst the tribe, amongst the group, and talk about some things and stuff like that, and figure it out because they do got talent. Because nobody really wants to hear like, yo, if everybody was in their prime, you got 5 players that are top 75 all time. If everybody was in the prime, you don't have not everybody's in the prime. But now it's just like you got a big three of Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James. Figure it out.
Get it done.
Like figure it out. Get it done. Like, we know what you need. When you need a shot creator, you need a rim protector. Like, okay, you need that, but until you get that, I guess you got to figure it out.
But the thing is, too, every team in the league needs something. Every single team, right? No team is perfect, right? So that's why I can't even accept that as an excuse. Do the Lakers have weaknesses? Sure, but name a team who doesn't. Right, like so we can do that all day long. At some point, it comes down to, all right, you have weaknesses. Cry about it. Now, and again, if we were talking about a team that constantly kept losing to teams that were like
good,
we're very great.
That's facts.
I might start questioning. Well, damn, like y'all just always fold when it comes to the good teams. But if we are losing to scrubs, what question do we really have to ask now? Yeah. Do you like losing? Do you enjoy it? And I promise you, I hate saying this shit. I really do. Like it makes my blood boil to even think that we even have to entertain this conversation. But it's a real thing. Get the shit done. Ain't nobody asked you to do anything crazy. I'm not asking, you know what I'm saying, dudes to hold KD to 20 points a game. I'm asking you to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I don't think that's a crazy request. I don't think that, like, maybe it is.
Well, it's not San Antonio Spurs.
Maybe I'm wilding. Maybe my expectations are through the roof. Maybe maybe it's just me, but I don't know. But get the shit done.
Let's
get it done.
Let's switch. Let's switch gears real quick. There's a lot of old vets coming back into the league, starting 10 days. We saw ISO Joe. We see Greg Monroe. Like, a lot of guys. Greg Monroe, that's crazy to me. What I want to ask you, so what is one vet right now that you would like to see get a 10-day? It's a lot out of there.
For entertainment purposes, first things first. 2 names, Michael Beasley and J.R. Smith. First things first. But mentioning Joe Johnson, I don't say shout out to Joe Johnson. I think what he's doing is definitely, I respect the hell out of it. I mean, obviously, we're in an era now where a lot of vets are being signed, but, to go back to kind of one of his earlier teams, especially at his age, it's definitely kind of cool to see. But I would say JR and Michael Beasley, guys, or at least JR, a guy that's not too far removed from being out of the league. I'm trying to think of another name. I know IT didn't get his contract re-up with the Lakers, but I mean, I don't know if he's definitely gonna get signed. Yeah, he proved it in the first 2 games. Like, I mean, it's so crazy, man, to see. I mean, I don't know who the hell is. I don't know how long this is going to last in terms of, like, I was watching the movie The Replacements earlier this week, and it's like, shit. It might get nasty in terms of, like, just
it's been nasty.
It's been nasty, but put it like this, it's been yeah, I know what you're ready to say. That was nasty. Holy shit!
Do you see the Toronto Raptors?
I saw it.
I see the Toronto Raptors.
Oh my goodness!
I didn't know nobody in that starting lineup. My
damn self. I was like, hey, I need a fifth.
Yo, I didn't know nobody in that starting lineup, bro. That was crazy. I'm like, yo, this is getting crazy.
But I'm gonna say this though: opportunities are there. Make the most of them, Kings.
Hey,
make the most of them.
Hey, Miami Heat got some Max down there cooking. We got Miami is deep. Like, we got players that we got to call up that's still hoopers. Like, they deep in the 305. Like, it's serious down there. Like, people talk about title contenders. Like, don't sleep on the Miami Heat. Like, they telling you.
I gotta pull up to a Miami Heat game.
I do too. Lord knows this. I am wishing and I am praying for a Milwaukee Bucks versus Miami Heat matchup. That would just make my, like,
in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, I need it.
It might get nasty.
I need it.
Because they can throw some guys at them.
I need it.
They can throw some guys at them. Then with Spo being a great coach, they could throw some guys at them.
I need it. I need to know if 2020 was real or was 2021 real. Like, I need that trilogy. I need that matchup. I need that matchup. I really do. Especially being a Miami Heat fan, especially being a guy that's been, somewhat critical of Giannis at times. Because, hey, it is what it is. I admit when I'm wrong, but let's get to a cap or no cap, because it was a lot of, like, speaking of Giannis, it was a lot of, like, after the Milwaukee Bucks won, you know how social media goes. It goes to the left very easy. One game it's like, this guy's this. One game, this guy's that. But I want to ask you a cap or no cap question. Is Giannis Antetokounmpo the best two-way player in the league right now? Cap or no cap?
Cap or no cap, is Giannis Antetokounmpo the best two-way player in the league right now? I mean, no cap. I mean, I don't, unless there's a name out there that I'm just completely forgetting. No cap. I don't even want to get ready to say it's not even close, but, like, is there someone that I'm blanking out on, or, like, that I just, do you have a name?
No, I'm asking you. This is your cap.
I gave you my answer, but that's what I'm saying. I said no cap. I said it might not even be close, but I just don't want to make sure I forget anybody.
It's guys that's out right now. Like, Kawhi Leonard's out right now. But
exactly.
Yeah, I would say this. That answer is fine. But I also will say, like, it depends on what type of defense you prefer. Because if you look at it,
all right, be honest.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it depends. You talk about two-way ability. You talk about defense. It's just like, if you prefer, like, the oohs and ahs of that block shot, that was a phenomenal defensive play. Help side defense, rim protect. That's what he's great at. That's what he does best. But if you're a person like me that prefers, like, perimeter defense, guarding the best player, can you really make that claim that Giannis is the best two-way player in the world?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Because the definition of defense is preventing the other team or player from scoring the basketball. Some guys are great at perimeter defense. Some guys are great at guarding the rim. Some guys are great at guarding the pick and roll. Some guys are great in other defensive ways. Just because Giannis might not, slide his feet and do all the different things doesn't take away from the fact that he's still a terrific defender, right? Because to your point, even though you might want to mention guys who are great on the perimeter defensively, can they do what Giannis is able to do around the rim? Hell no. So you want to look at it as just a perimeter thing. I could look at it as a rim protector thing. So again, based off the definition of what we're saying defense, or at least what I'm saying defense is, and being a two-way guy, two-way is offense and defense, not three-point shooter and perimeter defender, not low post scorer and, rim protector. It is offense and defense. You can be a great two-way player as a point guard. You can be a great two-way defender as a center, as a small forward, so on and so forth. So to me, is Giannis the best two-way player in the league? Yes. I would say no cap to that.
I think that's a solid. I think you can roll with Joel Embiid as well, though. I think Joel Embiid has a legitimate.
I'm not mad at it.
Can score every level on the basketball court, inside, outside. Can also defend, rim protect. But also, I've seen Joel Embiid get on that perimeter as well and guard guards at times. Not for long possessions, but he's actually made it very difficult for them. So you can say that argument. I'm not mad at the Giannis. I'm not mad.
And I'm gonna tell you something else too. In addition to the Joel Embiid take, to all the Jokic fans out there, all right, that heavily listen to No Pump Fakes, the debate can be made. And even when we talk about two-way, I know you mentioned the whole idea of top 5 offensive talent for sure, but some people out there feel that even defensively, Jokic, deserves some more respect or his flowers. And I'm just basing it based off the Jokic love.
If you're looking at analytics, if you're looking at basketball analytics,
I'm just here to speak on behalf of the Jokic fans.
If you watching the game, he's nowhere near close defensively to any elite big man in the game. Anthony Davis, nowhere near defensively. Giannis, nowhere near defensively. Joel Embiid, nowhere near defensively. Rudy Gobert, nowhere near defensively. Now, you can look at the analytics, you can look at the advanced defensive stats and all that stuff. But let me tell you something. Basketball shouldn't be measured by raw stats and analytics. It's a very, very flawed metric. So it's just kind of especially defensive analytics, because I can point out to Giannis winning Defensive Player of the Year award. On the court, the Bucks had a better defensive rating when Brook Lopez was on the court and when Giannis was off the court. Is Brook Lopez a better defender than Giannis Antetokounmpo? Hell no. So you can't pay attention to those defensive analytics. That's a very flawed metric. There you go, right there. We can just end it at that. One guy that won the Defensive Player of the Year who's off the court, but Brook Lopez on the court with the team is better. The team is better defensively. What do your eyes tell you? What are you watching? When you watch the game, does it tell you that, do you watch and you say Brook Lopez is a better defender than Giannis Antetokounmpo? So that's the same thing with the Nikola Jokic stuff. Defensive analytics and those stats, yes, say that Jokic is improved or a decent or above average defender, but what do your eyes tell you compared to Joel Embiid, Giannis, Anthony Davis? It's not even close. But at the same time, shout out to Nikola Jokic. His fans are crazy. Top 5 player in the league, top 5 talent in my opinion. But let's not get it twisted. Defensively, he's nowhere near those guys.
It gets pretty nasty. But yeah, I mean, to answer the cap or no cap, Giannis, top 2-way player in the league, I would say no cap to that.
I'm mad at it.
Yeah, just like that. All right, y'all, we out. Peace.
It's your boy, MyK Smith, also known as AK. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.